Hey, what is going on, guys? XpertFusion here, and today I'm giving you my review for The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 15, which was titled Worth. I have to say this episode was very, very solid. It wasn't my favorite, though, out of the season or anything like that. It definitely wasn't a higher tier episode. It was about an average or a little bit above average type of an episode, but I didn't expect it to be any higher than that. It wasn't like I was expecting it to be amazing, insane episode. But it did have some really awesome moments, and overall was a solid episode. I do have some complaints, of course, as always. Of course, nothing's perfect. I'm always going to have at least one thing to say on the negative side, but there's always a lot more positives with The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead tends to have way more positives. As an overarching episode, I really like how they have been doing this for Season 8. They give us good guy episodes, bad guy episodes, stuff like that. And I like the bad guy episodes sometimes. It's really interesting to see from their point of view what's going on. And the chess game that was being played throughout this episode between Negan, Simon, and Dwight was just so fucking good. The back and forth between them. I thought, a lot of people were saying it was kind of cheesy how they didn't show that it was Laura to enter the car in episode 14. They thought that was a weird cliffhanger or whatever, and they were going to show it in the beginning of this episode. But, it's a lot more interesting to see Negan talking to Dwight with us not knowing whether or not he picked up Laura or not. Was just so interesting because it made us not know. We don't know if Negan knows about Dwight. We don't know. And we don't know what he's going to do. And he's so unpredictable in this episode. I hate people who say Negan's predictable because, let's be real here, he is not predictable. Not in the slightest. I thought he was about to bash in fucking Simon's head in the beginning part. Even when he was talking to Dwight, every conversation he had with Dwight, I thought he was about to just punch Dwight in the face. The whole episode, every time he talked to him, I thought he was about to just clock, Dwight in the face. Every time he was talking to Simon, I thought he was going to clock Simon in the face. It was unpredictable stuff. I really liked it. It was really smart by Negan too. This episode made Negan very smart in terms of how he played Dwight by giving him fake plans to give to Rick. So Rick, will go through with that plan and then end up getting himself killed in the process. That was brilliant by Negan. I love that. I loved the stuff with Gregory. I liked how, they had it so he was going to deliver the message, how Dwight was telling him we got to get out of here while Negan and Simon were fighting. I liked that. I liked a lot of the stuff with them. For sure. That was definitely the highlights of the episode. And then, of course, we had Simon's death. Now, I definitely would say, Simon's death, I wanted him to die by Jadis or by a main character in the finale. I definitely wanted that to happen because we know we're not going to get Negan dying in the finale, which is a good thing. So I wanted there to be at least one big character type death of a villain death in the finale. And unfortunately, we got it an episode early. And it was by, another main bad guy. But if they had to go with that story direction, because it made sense, it does. I also wish it was a little different than how they did it, because I'm not going to lie, it was kind of odd the way they did it. You feel like it wasn't choking Simon enough. And the way they, stopped the music, I thought he just let Simon go and then he walked away. I didn't even know Simon was dead until, he said asshole and we saw Simon on the floor. I was like, wait, is Simon dead? And of course, it was confirmed he was dead when we saw him as a goddamn walker, but it was kind of hard to tell, is he dead or not at first. And I feel like it would have been a lot better if maybe he was choking him a little bit longer and we saw Simon's face while he was choking him the whole time, and we saw him slowly lose breath and his eyes roll back. That would have been a lot better because it's easier to tell that he's dead, obviously. Or I was honestly hoping he'd use Lucille, because we haven't seen Negan kill any humans with Lucille in a long time other than Glenn and Abraham. So I think it would be really cool if I know he wants to put him on the fence as a walker, so I think it'd be really cool if he bashed in his stomach. It sounds so weird, but imagine him just swinging at Simon's stomach until he's bleeding out and blood starts gushing out of his mouth. But at the same time, I feel like he has respect for Simon in some way, shape, or form, so he wanted to kill him in a graceful way. He wanted to give him a chance at survival. I like that he wanted to give Simon a chance to beat him if he wants to be the man. I like that. I do. But I just wish how they killed him was a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more graceful. I don't know. I don't know the way to put it. The words I'm trying to say. I don't know. I liked it, though. I liked a lot of the stuff that went on with them, definitely. Then we have the stuff with Daryl, Rosita, and Eugene. I liked it for a little bit, But there was one thing about it that I didn't like. Now, I liked, we had the conversation with Eugene and Father Gabriel, whatever. I don't really know what they're doing with Father Gabriel at this point. I'm kind of confused. I guess he's just going to play as a hostage in the next episode. He's been literally at the sanctuary the whole season, ever since episode 1, so that's kind of crazy, but I'm interested to see what they do with him, definitely, because I physically have no idea. It's very different than his comic book counterpart. Same with Eugene. I have no idea what they're going to do with him. I really don't. But Eugene, I really like Eugene's character. It's interesting. I like seeing him do stuff. Personally, look, I do think he's going to have a redemption storyline in the next episode. I do think he will help out the team. But I don't know what his motive is going to be to help out the team, because he's going to need some kind of a motive. He's not just, all of a sudden, there was no motive in this episode. I was expecting there to be a motive with Daryl and Rosita. Maybe Daryl and Rosita, having conversation with him. But after Rosita basically told off Eugene, said his life is worthless, I don't see any redemption. I don't know what's the redemption is going to be, and I'm really interested and curious to see what the redemption is going to be, because there's got to be something, man. There's really got to be something. There's so many loose ends that are still flying around that they're going to have to tie all up in the finale, and I just don't know how they're going to do it, because the finale is only extended by like 5 to 10 minutes. Obviously, it's in cinemas. It's going to be playing back-to-back with the Fear premiere, so it's not extended by that long because of that reason, but they're going to have to tie up a lot of loose ends, which I'm really curious to see how in the hell they do that. I don't know. I'm interested, but, we'll have to wait and see, obviously. But Eugene, I was expecting there to be a redemption, and I do expect it. But personally, look, I think we're going to get a main character death in the next episode. And, look, it's predictable for Eugene to... Either way, I'm fine. As long as they do it in a good way, I'm fine with Eugene making a redemption. Or the way that I thought would be very, very, very interesting is Eugene just going full on, fuck it mode. Like, I am Negan. Like, that kind of mode. Like, the mode he has been the past season. And just say, you know what? Screw it. And just end up trying to kill a team family member. I don't know. And then ends up, he gets into a position where Rosita has him hostage and aims a gun at him and is going to shoot him, and then Eugene just says do it or something, and Rosita does it. I don't know. I feel like that would be interesting, seeing him die, because Eugene is definitely very different than the comics, and I wouldn't mind seeing his character die. I feel like it could work, but at the same time, I don't mind a redemption story either. I think a redemption story could work too. I'm curious to see what will happen. I really am, because at this point I have no idea. I really don't. I have physically zero idea what they're doing with Negan. I really don't. So the only problem I had with that whole stuff between him, Daryl, and Rosita was, what was the purpose of it? Because I'm looking back at it, and I thought there was going to be some really deep purpose. Once they stole Eugene, I thought they were going to do something more interesting with it. But he just ends up making himself throw up on Rosita, which was funny, by the way. I thought that was a funny scene. And then he gets away. What was the purpose of that? Because all it did was just intensify Eugene's hatred towards them and intensify Rosita and Daryl's hatred towards him. And they already had a pretty deep hatred over the past season or so. So, other than some really awesome dialogue, which I gotta say was awesome by Rosita, I after Rosita just told them off, I like that, and Daryl told them off too. Other than just that little bit of dialogue and Eugene trying to make his case that they were nice to me. Actually, I guess that's the only importance of it, is Eugene saying that they were nice to me and stuff, and that they didn't torture me, they didn't try to kill me, they didn't do any of that kind of stuff. And I guess Daryl and Rosita knowing that could change their outlook on the Saviors. That's the only purpose I see of that whole entire section of this episode. It's a very minor section of the episode. It wasn't like it was like the major part. Obviously, the major part was Negan, Simon, and Dwight, but we still had this. And I just felt like it was worthless. I really do feel like it wasn't. I'm not going to call it filler. I don't think anything The Walking Dead does is filler. I'm sure the next episode, it's going to end up making it, important in some way, shape, or form. But personally, I just don't see the point of it. It just didn't seem necessary. And I enjoyed it. I was entertained by it. I'm not saying it was boring or anything. It was very entertaining. I enjoyed it. I just don't see the point of it right now. Maybe we'll know in the next episode. And then the last stuff, well, I guess there's two other things, but we also had Aaron and the Oceanside. Kind of similar with this. there's gonna be a point to that. I know there will be, but I feel like we should have gotten more Oceanside this season because we didn't get a lot of Oceanside. We got like 2 episodes of Oceanside, and like each in those 2 episodes that they were in, it was like literally 5 to 10 minutes. I feel like we should have gotten an episode with more Oceanside, and maybe something catastrophic happens. I was hoping that Tanya would die at the hands of the Saviors in some way, shape, or form. I mean, obviously the little speech Aaron had, he was saying, the Saviors technically killed your grandmother because the Saviors made you guys this way. The Saviors made you guys all untrustworthy, and that's what got her killed. And I just don't think it's enough to convince them to fight. And if they're not going to end up fighting in the next episode, I don't really see the point of them even bothering with it. I mean, they didn't take much time. Don't get me wrong. They took like 5 minutes out of the episode. That's it. I'm fine with that. Give us some Aaron. Whatever. We haven't seen Aaron in a while. I'm fine with that. But it's really just, if it's not going to be important, because there has to be some big thing that happens, because I don't want them, after that Aaron speech, I don't want that to be the reason Oceanside decides to go to war, because it just is not, it's not convincing enough. It really isn't. So I'm hoping something else happens in the next episode. There's a lot of loose ends they got to tie up. Like I said, stuff with the junkyard they have to tie up, Jadis, a lot of stuff. But we had that. And then we get to what was definitely one of my favorite parts of the episode, was the beginning and the end, when we read Rick's letter, and we got to hear Rick's letter, we get to hear Negan's letter at the end. I love that. I absolutely love that. I would love to hear everyone's letter, including Enid's, Michonne's, Maggie's. I would love to hear everyone's letter, but for what we got, I think that was awesome to get to hear it. Like, the beginning, that was so emotional, seeing Rick tear up with Carl's letter, which was beautiful, and then the ending, Michonne reading the letter to Negan, I liked that a lot. And then Negan just saying the plan has changed, after what Simon did at the hilltop, there's no more just, trying to rule them anymore, because he already rattled them up enough. He already killed a couple. It's over. Now he just has to exterminate them, and that's what Negan's plan is now. It has changed, which I'm interested to see. I'm definitely interested. Overall, finale is going to be incredible. I know it. It's going to be incredible. I'm expecting it to be one of the best episodes of all time. I hope it will be. I'm seeing it in the theaters, so it's only going to increase my enjoyment of it by a lot, for sure. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.